Emile, I like to put you in this category of the guy that we get to interview right now because in like 2 years you're gonna be so big time you won't be doing these things anymore, and we'll never get a chance to interview you again. So really pleased to have you on the program, Emile Hirsch. Emile, how you doing, man?
Good. How are you doing, buddy?
How many films have you been in now? I mean, there's been three major ones. The first one, I think the one.
Alpha Dog, too.
Oh, Alpha Dog. I missed that one. I haven't seen that. The first one was The Girl Next Door, and then you went. I guess it would have been Lords of Dogtown after that. Then Alpha Dog, and now Into the Wild. Fantastic job on all of them. But you got to play Jay Adams in Lords of Dogtown. Yeah. Which he's probably one of the more colorful characters in the film and of the group. I would imagine. How do you prepare for something like that? What kind of background research do you do? Were there people on site to kind of give you insight, like guys like Tony Alva and things like that? Just kind of tell us how do you prepare for something like that?
Just like tried to learn as much about Jay as I could, and I thought he was just a really cool guy and crazy, really crazy. And I went to go see him in Hawaii and stayed at the Turtle Bay Hilton or something in Hawaii on the North Shore. And he came over and he just has such crazy energy. It's just like watching him was just like a wild animal, but he's just like so cool. And we got along really well. We went out to dinner and had a good time. And he told me a lot of really good stories. And he's had a lot of hard times in his life, so it was nice hearing it from him. But a lot of the skateboarding. When he found out I was goofy-footed, he kind of wigged out and was like, can you just skate regular and have the stunt double do everything? I mean, it was a really big deal I was goofy. Really big deal. Because he's regular, and it was really, like, bad for a while that I was goofy.
So what'd you do?
I was like, eventually the producer was like, there's no way you're skating regular. He's like, he's going to have to deal with it. And he was cool with it.
We've had Stacy Peralta on the show a couple times, and the first time was when the documentary came out, Dogtown Z-Boyz, and then the second time was when the actual movie was coming out. He was doing press for it, and was there pressure on you because the documentary was just phenomenal? It's one of the best documentaries I've ever seen in my life, and you don't have to be a fan of skateboarding. Was there a lot of pressure to kind of like make this movie to live up to it, or did you just kind of just blank out and start from scratch?
I mean, we were definitely trying to get the kick-assness of the documentary in the film. So I mean, we didn't want to drop the ball and look like a bunch of posers. That's for sure. Yeah. So I mean, we would like watch the documentary, and the director Catherine Hart would try to make everything really authentic and yell at us if we weren't being authentic and going for it. And it was fun, man. I mean, every day when we were training, we'd just like go skate and then go to the beach. And in the morning we'd go surfing, and then we'd be skating all day, and then we'd go to the beach. Then we'd pig out and eat burgers and stuff. It was great.
How big of a surfer or skater are you in real life?
I still skate. I haven't got a chance to surf in a little while, but I still skate.
Where are you living now? Are you living down in LA or?
I was living in Venice for a little while, and now I kind of don't have a place, and I'm kind of looking for a place.
Kind of like your character in the new movie Into the Wild. Wasn't that good? And speaking of this new movie it's coming out September 28th. I had a chance to see it. Eerily poetic, a lot of crazy arguments you can make with yourself, a lot of crazy messages in there, a lot of debates you can have. But the director of the movie, a local man, Sean Penn, who actually also narrated Dogtown Z-Boyz too. Tell us about being directed by Sean, who's like just an amazing actor and just filmmaker.
Man, it was cool. He's such a tough kind of man's man, badass dude, and he really demanded the most out of me. And, really we pushed each other to do a lot of extreme stuff. I mean, we'd be snowmobiling around, and, we did rapids on the Colorado River. He actually did them first just to prove that they could be done. And then when we did the rapids, I mean, it was crazy. It was a wild experience, that's for sure. Because we were in the middle of nowhere, on the Grand Canyon. And then he had me jump off this huge cliff. I don't know how high it was, maybe like 25, 30 feet into the Colorado River. But it was kind of a gnarly little jump. And then he was just like, action! And it was like I had to jump. It was like I was forced to jump.
How long did the movie take to make?
8 months. Yeah.
For those of us, I guess for some of the people, I know what it's about, but a lot of our listeners probably don't. First of all, it opens Into the Wild opens September 28th here in San Francisco, and it rolls out probably in some larger markets the 21st. Tell people what the movie's about, just kind of
The movie's about this guy, Chris McCandless, who graduates college and gives up everything and goes on this 2-year kind of journey around the country. Doesn't contact his family, doesn't have any money, just kind of lives like a vagabond, hobo, camper on this kind of philosophical, personal journey he takes. And he ends up going into Alaska and living out in the bush for like 113 days on his own with almost no supplies.
And it's based on a true story.
Yeah, it's a true story.
Really good movie. Again, I didn't even know it was based on a true story. I knew nothing about it, which is how I like to see my movies, and so I was kind of blown away. And there's one character who plays.
He likes to date as well.
Totally.
It's like to just not know what they're gonna look like. Just show up.
Sounds like surprises, big surprises.
Speaking of hot surprises, and I don't know if if The Girl Next Door was your debut movie. Was it? Was that your first movie?
No, I did a couple small ones before that.
But that was your first kind of feature, like you're starring. I mean, Alicia Cuthbert. I mean, dude, are you tempted in scenes to just never stop the hooking up scenes? Like when the director's like, cut, you're like brushing them off? I mean,
Yeah, the crew has to like pull you off,
Hose you down, like water you down.
pour an ice bucket over me. Yeah.
oh man, who's Emile Hirsch the person, man? What do you like as a person? I mean, are you a party animal? Are you a mellow guy? I mean,
I'm pretty mellow. I'm pretty mellow.
That's
pretty much summer. Where'd you grow up?
I grew up around Los Angeles and in Santa Fe, New Mexico too.
Oh, nice. How'd you get into acting?
I went to some cool summer camps when I was like 8, 9, in the woods, just like putting on Shakespeare and stuff. It was really fun.
Nice. Do you have anything else for Emile?
I don't know. What's next?
I just this summer shot Speed Racer in Berlin.
No.
Wachowski brothers.
Yeah, it was fun. It was good times.
Do you mind if we ask? Like, one of the brothers had that whole operation. Is he still around? No comment. Okay, forget it. But the movie itself, like, dude, is it gonna live up to the hype? Like Matrix, like V for Vendetta.
I think it's gonna be pretty badass. Yeah.
Nice. Nice.
What's it like shooting in Berlin? I mean, it's got to be kind of a trip.
I'd never been to Europe before, so it was
Oh, wow.
a really cool experience. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, Europe is so I mean, you can walk to the park and there's a section of the park where like people can just chill naked.
Yeah.
And I'm like walking by like, what the hell is going on here?
It's a naked park. Everyone has a naked park. No, it's Europe's. I've been there quite a few times. It's definitely a trippy place. But Berlin is actually one place that I haven't really visited Germany much, and Berlin is a place I've never been. So I was kind of curious to know what the vibe is like around there.
Very like artsy, cool, crazy,
Compared to
punk,
New York, maybe.
punky.
Yeah. Did you ever go to Munich? That's where I love that city.
No, I've never been to Munich.
It's a lot of beer drinking. That's really the theme, but it's fun. Well, dude, Into the Wild, really good, deep film. I definitely give it a strong recommendation. And the man who played Jay Adams in Lords of Dogtown. I mean, were you satisfied with your performance? I mean, because a lot of old school skaters, especially, look up to the guy, man. Love the guy. I mean, out of all the Z-Boyz, he's like the hero, and maybe it's all the mischief he got into, but
natural talent too.
yeah, amazingly talented. And are you happy with the way you portrayed him?
Yeah, man. I mean, he was cool with it.
Nice.
So as long as he wasn't mad, I was stoked.
Even with the goofy foot, huh?
Yeah, I mean, he wasn't totally stoked.
Hey, you can't fight nature, right?
Well, and dude, thanks for coming to the program, man. And Emile Hirsch, man, thanks a lot, man.
All right, thank you very much.